It's the Underpowered Hour. On this week's show, the weather outside is frightful, but the Smith's heater is delightful. It's time for everyone's favorite things of 2023. And now, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Barris, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at thebarriscollection.com or follow us on Instagram at thebarriscollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Ike Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I'm the capillary gauge to Steven's lack of information. I'm the oily sock of podcasting, Ike Goss. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike and Linus and Janna and Liza. It's that time again. Every year, we like to get together and enjoy a group hot tub and talk about our favorite things from the previous year, just in time for the holiday season, so that if you're looking for the Land Rover enthusiast on your list to get a really special gift this year, then, head straight to Linus's online store, where you can get a whole variety of old-timey camping equipment and spoons, collectible spoons. All different
too.
Linus outfit collectible spoons. Remember collecting spoons?
Many overly sized overalls.
Yeah, some great overalls. Does anybody collect spoons anymore? Is that something people do?
I mean, I think you're the only one that doesn't, Steven.
Oh, shit. I'm really out of the loop here. Well, no better time than to talk about our favorite things. So, Ike, what are your favorite things for the year His Majesty's 2023?
I have a very small digression, which I would like to mention since it's very seasonal and topical. Stephen confided into me as to why he was late for today's podcast, which I thought was great. He was helping his friend make a sweater with a Christmas sweater, I'm assuming, with a house and a chimney. He was making the chimney smoke. That was his project. Which,
I can confirm that this is exactly why Stephen was late to the podcast.
Yeah.
We
were racing to complete the real smoking chimney Christmas sweater. And we met great success.
Did you light a small fire inside the sweater?
Stick a cigarette in there?
It's made it's made out of a vape, actually. That's
which Stephen has a lot of.
So the person getting high while wearing the sweater.
That's right. So we've attached a vape to an intervaled timer and some surgical hose and a diffuser, and basically it just pulses the vape once every second or so to just give a little wisp of smoke out of the chimney on this Christmas sweater. So it's pretty cool.
Is it like a cherry tobacco flavor? What flavor did you pick?
Well, right now it's vegetable glycerin, which would have been fine for me, but I think he is going to go and actually get some apparently non-tobacco, but peppermint vape juice, so that it does. He's going to smell just terrible for weeks after.
We should have made Ike wear his Christmas vest for this episode.
I should have. I will tomorrow. Yep. We have a Christmas event tomorrow, and I'll have to wear it for that. But that's amazing. That's amazing, and definitely worth a digression. Thank you for that.
Worth being late for the podcast. I apologize. We'll post some photos of that up on the Instagram once we get it rolling. But now, in Land Rover related news on that front, I would like to find, and if anybody has a bead on one, please let us know. I would like to find a Land Rover Christmas sweater that I can make the exhaust smoke with the same system. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I definitely have a.
Then you could get some really gross smell to come out.
I would just fill it with diesel fuel. and just have it.
90 weight.
That'll work. Same thing. The diesel fuel will burn in it just like the vape juice will. So
just saturated with diesel.
So now that we've talked about both of Ike's favorite things,
vape juice and diesel fuel, or vaping diesel fuel.
It's really just one thing. I mean,
it's really just one thing. Yeah.
And just for the listeners at home, don't vape diesel fuel, please. I think that's probably
what
bad.
Would happen
really
to
bad.
you if you? But if you do, not because we told you to, but if you do, let us know what happened.
No, don't do it. Just don't do it.
For science.
Please, for the love of God, know that these guys are being sarcastic.
You heard it here
Please
first.
do
Recommended
not
by the Underpowered Hour vaping.
In fact,
diesel.
there could be a product, Underpowered Hour diesel vape juice. You know,
get it at your favorite e-liquid outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was how the Underpowered Hour was shut down, was due to the class action lawsuit filed by our listeners who said that we said that they should do this.
Completely
That's right.
frivolous.
Wherever fine vape juices are sold.
Right.
All right, Ike. Well, what is, besides the diesel vape juice, what is your two favorite items that you've come across this year?
I look forward to defending myself vigorously against that lawsuit. I just wanted to say that. But my favorite things this season, I have a few of them. Actually, three. I'm going to go three things.
Bonus
and so you're all going to have to sit through it, and it's going to be great. So one of my recent favorites is something a customer brought in. It's these apples. So we had a customer come in with a Series 2A 109 pickup truck, and his son lives near an orchard, and the orchard grows Honeycrisp apples. And I have to say, these apples are insanely good. And you know, I'm not kidding. These really are one of my favorite recent things that has come into the shop. These are amazing. I've eaten 3 dozen, and we have a horse behind our shop. If you don't know, and I haven't given a single one to the horse. They're too good. They're too good.
Too good for the horse.
Good for the horse. He's like,
the
here,
horse wouldn't appreciate it, you know. Yeah.
I brought these apples for your horse. So, you know, if you can find these apples, they come from Washington, and they're super amazing. So definitely get yourself some Honeycrisp apples this holiday season. That is number one. Yeah. Number 2 is a product that we use in the shop quite extensively. I really like it, and we have talked about it a little bit on the show. It is a product called Fluid Film, and essentially what this product is sheep's grease. So they put a live sheep in a sort of
a juicer.
Sort of a juicer. Yeah. And they squeeze it. It's the sheep isn't harmed in the process.
Oh, I see. So not a juicer necessarily, more of a milker.
Yeah, there you go. It's a sheep milker. Yeah, everybody's got one of those, but it milks the entire sheep, not just the milky parts.
It milks it for its oil, for its slippery oil.
No,
it comes from the skin, not the inside.
So the product is for the use in like an anti-corrosion, a rust inhibitor substance, and it is made from the lanolin of the sheep. So it's a byproduct of the wool making process. And what I like about it is that it lasts a good long time. So we use it on chassis and bulkheads and, machined parts and these sorts of things that we don't want to corrode, but we don't necessarily want to paint, or it's inconvenient to paint, or it's inaccessible to paint. So sometimes we spray it inside the chassis or inside enclosed sections of doors and these sorts of things. And it sort of seeps and creeps into the nooks and crannies, and it prevents water and salt and other corrosion chemicals from corroding the steel in the Land Rover. So we use this product a lot, and the things I like about it are that it's a little more environmentally friendly than a petroleum-based substance. So if you just spray that in the chassis of your Land Rover, it's like leaking even more oil than normal out of the chassis. So I like that about it. It has a pleasing odor. It's not necessarily a nice odor, but it's a little better than like sort of a harsh petroleum chemical smell. So I like it.
Smells
for
a bit
that
like lamb gyro, right? It's like you're on a Greek.
Yeah,
island.
it's like a doner. It's like a doner kebab.
It's like lamb.
Yeah. So
it smells like that old tub of lamb.
Yeah, it smells like a really old sweater or something like that. Just sort of like it's a little musty and oily, but at any rate, I really enjoy this product. It comes in a spray can with a nozzle extension. You can get it into all the nice tight little spots that tend to corrode, or or just, get stuck, seized. You can use it on moving parts too. But it's a nice product. It's available in sort of a natural brownish color, or it's also available in black. You can get it in black if you want to apply it to your chassis and have it, look nice and shiny and black. But we just use the natural variety. The flavor is good, so there's that too. So we use and endorse the fluid film product. It's nice. It's a great one. So put it on your undercarriage today. The other thing that I have grown to love this year is Sherardized hardware. I know we talk about Sherardized hardware a lot on the show. It is it's worth mentioning again. We've been doing a lot of work with Series 1s, and so we have kind of accumulated an extensive inventory of Sherardized hardware working on those cars, and gosh, it sure is nice. It's super
For the dummies in the room, can you explain what is Sherardized hardware? Like, I really honestly don't know.
That's a fair question. Although
it's good because Ike is the president of the North American Society of Sheradizers.
It's true. Well, I mean, all the kids are talking about it, and you've clearly been living in a cave with your eyes shut and your fingers in your ears, because otherwise you would know. The latest Taylor Swift song is all about Sheradizing. So I have no idea why you're not, in the know.
Her next tour is called the Sherardizing.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just singing Sherardized every. So to answer your question, the process is a bolt coating process or a fastener coating process. It doesn't have to be a fastener, I suppose. It could be any piece of metal, but
anything that's metal, you could Sherardize spoons. Your a good friend's
various
dog, whatever
things
you want.
that Ike has and likes.
Sure. You could Sherardize most steel parts for sure. Anything that you could normally galvanize. It is in the galvanizing sort of family in that you're coating the fastener with zinc, and in this case, it's done with a vapor, which sounds really good for you. But what they do is they put the fasteners and a zinc powder in a drum, and then they heat the drum. And then at a certain point, the zinc powder turns into a vapor and coats the bolts with a very fine, dull gray finish. And it prevents the fasteners from rusting. And it's what the Land Rovers used originally, for their fasteners to keep them from corroding. And it's kind of an antiquated process. You don't really see it available very often, but there are some specialists that offer the service, and we offer the fasteners here at our shop to put in your Land Rover to make them nice and original looking. Instead of having shiny bolts, shiny fasteners, we kind of have a tendency to use those original style coated fasteners. Anyway, I love it. It's a great.
And what's they sent me a bottle of it, but I forget the name now. We've yet to actually do a really thorough test of it, but there is a product that we think is going to be at least visually similar to Sheradizing, but instead of having to go through a galvanic electric bath and all that sort of stuff, it is a metal reactive coating like bluing, like gun bluing or something, and it creates a Sheradized look on a bolt without having to do all of that sort of electrolysis and stuff. We haven't really tried it yet. They did send us a kit, and we'll post a video up on that. But I can't remember what's it called.
It's called Parkerizing, and Parkerizing.
Yes, Parkerizing.
Yeah, that is another. Everybody had their own process at that time for coating their fasteners, and they just named it after themselves. So, you need to come up with your own Steverizing process.
Well, that's what this will be, the Steverized. Yeah, I'm going to Steverize.
Just corrodes all the bolts.
Yeah.
I feel like Liza-Rized is a pretty good name.
Liza-Rizing. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah.
So, we've been doing a lot of work on Series 1s, and that is why we like Sherardized fasteners, because they have that sort of finish that blends in with the patina, blends in with the older cars. We really, really like that. So those are three of my favorite things, and not to be outdone by this apple. It's absolutely delicious. How about you, Linus?
Right,
what's your favorite thing?
Well, I was prepared to have two favorite things, but you're right. I have three, and one of them is those apples. I mean, we have a crate of them sitting in the front of the shop, and they are maybe the best apple I've ever had. without question.
Wow.
They're really very
Super good.
Very
He's not
good.
even kidding.
2 raving reviews for
Crunchy,
these apples.
juicy, sweet, really amazing. Anyway, my favorite things, I brought very Land Rover related favorite things today because I was unaware that that was going to be the subject of the podcast. I took things from the shop. My first favorite thing is a very Land Rover specific tool, which is this very fine main shaft nut tool that is made by H&J Engineering. And there's a particular reason that makes this one better than many of the ones that I have had before. Most of the ones that you see, they have had the little cutting here to astellations cut to fit into the nut, but they don't have this tapered area here that fits over the face of the nut. So you'll put it on and it can slip easily out of the grooves and not be very nice to use.
But are we still talking about the transmission?
I'm talking about something with grooves and something that sort of fits inside of something else, if you know what I mean. So
with a taper,
so the nut on the main shaft is tapered instead of square like most nuts. So if you don't have this nice tool, it'll just slip off and is very frustrating. This one is a little bit spendy. I think they're 80 pounds, but very worthwhile.
That's heavy.
Even if you only ever use it one time, I think it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Very nice.
I would like to say that I like that because it has the drive on the back of it. Can be used with a wrench or a socket. Some of them, in fact, most of them, they only use a Tommy bar. So when they give you a torque value in the workshop manual of like 80 foot-pounds, it's very difficult to get that with a Tommy bar. So I like it because you can put a torque wrench right on it. But if you are just, tightening it up or snugging up, you can use a ratchet or a wrench on the back. It's kind of nice.
It's a nice, very quality.
Is it specific only to Land Rovers?
Pretty much,
Can it be used for anything?
Pretty much. I mean, there must be some other thing that it would fit, but we don't know what it is.
Linus has tried a lot of things, and he's
tried a lot of things. He'll be out in the town this evening trying it on a number of different bolts.
My third favorite thing is another tool, and if you've ever seen the movie Spaceballs, it's a lot like that. It just keeps going across the screen. It's called a Dynaphile, and it is one of the, if not the last American-made pneumatic tool. Ingersoll Rand, there you go. The Dynaphile, made in USA. It comes with the option to select different grit on your belt, and there are also different little wheels so that you can change the angle of the tip here to fit into different work that you're doing. But this is a pneumatic sanding device that you can get into very small spaces. We use it sometimes to grind the head off of weird little bolts that we can't get undone. Also for cleaning areas before Ike welds them, or cleaning up areas after Ike welds them. Very, very useful tool. Expensive.
Yeah, they are really awesome.
But if you don't have one, and you have an extra pile of cash laying around, or you really want to impress that Land Rover friend of yours with your untold wealth that you just don't know what to do, this is the thing. I mean,
you already own a Land Rover. If that isn't doing it, this is the next level.
If you want to propose to your girlfriend and you don't know what to get her, and she likes working on her Land Rover, I'm telling you, get her one of these.
This is a super useful thing, and it's one of those things where you don't necessarily expect it to be as useful as it is, and you see similar little belt sanders like for sale at Harbor Freight, and you're like, I could get by with that for $30. No, the Dynabrade is incredible. It is an amazing tool, and it's so versatile and so useful. And you should definitely buy one.
And they are available pretty readily online, and because they are extremely well made, you can get a more used than maybe is appropriate for a professional workshop but will be 100 times better than the brand new one from Harbor Freight for not a ton of money. Like they really are, and they do last forever, and all the parts that wear in them are totally replaceable. So you could even buy
you
a
have
cheap one
one
that is worn out. I do. I have two. I have the adjustable neck one, and I have the one that you have there, the non-adjustable one.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, there's one on eBay.
Yep.
You can buy right now. You can just buy one.
Yeah,
incredible tool. So
they're about $600-$700 new, but you can get them for as little as $100-$150 on eBay with maybe an extra $50 in parts. You can have one that functions perfectly and looks like it was handed down from your grandfather. So you got you get some immediate street cred because it's it looks
the nice
well
thing
worn.
is I'm sure that you can find an application for them on something other than a Land Rover, even though mostly that we use them on Land Rovers because Land Rovers are so rusty and corroded and so many bolts are stuck. But very nice, very, very tight detail. You can really make things look good cleaning them up with that. So
I think Ike once described it as imagine you could take your finger and just touch something and grind it away. That's kind of what it feels like using one. Yeah, it's really cool. All right. Janna, what are your favorite things from this year?
Well, I don't have any props, but two things. I think my things are maybe at a higher price point than what we've already described. I'll lead with that.
Ooh la la.
Range Rover Sport, Range Rover Sports, Defender 130.
Close.
Defender 130. Yeah.
So basically, in order to get this thing, you would have to buy a new Land Rover, basically. So it comes with it.
Okay.
So it would be expensive because you have to buy the whole thing. But
first buy a Land Rover.
Yeah. But you could get a slightly non-new one, and it had this too. And so the thing that I learned to appreciate this year is Land Rover's patented hill descent control.
Oh,
pretty freaking cool. Yeah. Did a great job in those really rocky sections out in the rally, and it was clutch, I gotta say, no pun intended.
So you should rush out and buy the Freelander, which was the first
I know,
Land
exactly,
Rover to come
the
with
OG
hill descent control.
This is true. Yes.
That's true. Yeah. Jerry McGovern invented hill descent control and was first to install it.
How he invented hills.
He invented hills as well. Yeah. And then he was like, damn, how are we going to descend these? And then hill descent control came along. So there you go.
Janna was a hill descent, like she could hit that button like a boss in those moments. Just like real quick, pop that thing in to hill descent control, and boom, we were laughing. And it did. I'm gonna say that it made a massive difference. And once we went to the Land Rover experience, and Janna really learned how to utilize that button and utilize that mode, she used it all the freaking time. It was great.
And it was interesting. Recently, we saw a very large collection of Land Rovers across all time spans, and it was interesting to kind of peekaboo in all of them and see the evolution of the button. Like the different colors of the button, the icon on the bucket button. Just how sticky outy the button was, the shape of the button. It's pretty fun. I think that would be a cool
sounds like
montage.
a fun T-shirt.
Right? Yeah, it would be cool. So my second favorite thing, which is something I use every day. And even just like the sound of it, like, I don't know, there's something like very comfortable about
Janna,
it.
we can't have that on the show. This is not that kind of show.
So something that I use every day, but it would also be a big purchase most likely, and unless you figured out some very contraption-y like jigs somewhere. The tactile feedback of a series Land Rover parking brake lever. That like that big ratchet, like every time you just roll into your and you like ratchet that thing. We have, like driving the 130 this year, and then also we've been traveling a bunch and tons of rental cars. Yep. None of them have a very satisfying parking brake situation. It's always now it's like a little button or a tiny lever that doesn't give you any feedback. Like if you can't even tell if it's on or not on, and there's no click, there's no ka-chunk, there's no feedback. And I just love that, like, bam, that ratchet of the series parking brake lever. And I think all new cars should
How
come with that.
am I supposed to buy that for you?
Yeah,
I already
it's
have
a
it.
little bit difficult. Yeah, you got a few of them. Yeah, I like to keep that on as I drive over to Starbucks in the 80-inch. That's my favorite
That
trick.
Just leave it on. Yeah,
You
man.
just notice that asbestos burning smell,
Yeah,
and you're like,
what
"Hey,
is that smell? Like, oh, yeah, parking brake. There we go. Yeah, so you just adjust her down a little bit more every time you do that. You give her a little crank, and you're back in business. Yeah.
Get to Starbucks, forget who you are, and just it's fine.
I mean,
I appreciate that you took this in a different direction this year, Janna. Like, neither of those things are likely to be under the tree, although if somebody gets a new Defender under the tree
have
this
some
year,
keys.
Or an
You
old
can
series
be
car.
amazing.
Yeah, it comes with
or
it.
an old series car. But I do like that you really highlighted these very, very specific things that you love about these vehicles. It makes me so happy.
Yeah,
You can
that's
get
true.
just a button in a box.
Well.
That's true. That's
You know,
true.
I
and
think-
if that happens, I would like to see the pictures.
I'm taking
I
charm
think
bracelets.
that, like my signature panel for series vehicles, I think a series handbrake for new Land Rovers is definitely a product we could work out. Maybe it's Bluetooth or something to the electronic parking brake. I don't know, but you put it in place of the cup holder, or the Defender has those little Allen key screws right there. You could sort of maybe screw something in, and it would place a call to JLR asking them to turn on your electronic handbrake. Or something like that. I think those are two great opportunities. And then maybe Hills Ascent Control for the series cars that just deploys a parachute out the back of the car or something. I don't know.
Just paint that little icon on the red lever. Call it good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like it.
I think for the ratcheting handbrake in the modern car, you just need to mount like a nutcracker down there, like a walnut cracker, and you just toss a walnut in there and then yank it up. And you wanna...
Oh yeah. And then bonus, you get walnuts. Yeah, you get some delicious walnuts out of it as well. So that's a great idea.
New truck full of squirrels.
Speaking of a truckload of
Liza,
squirrels,
what are your
Liza, what are your favorite things?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, not a truck full of squirrels.
Oh, that's
So I have two very, very, very practical things. They're also very affordable things. And they are also for anybody. Doesn't really matter gender, age, anything like that. So my first thing, this is going to seem really boring, but the reason I picked it is because I finally, after 40 years, found a sunscreen that I actually like to put on. And I feel like as adventurers and people that like to take our Land Rovers outside and go outdoors, and Janna and I are frequently,
Wait a
on
minute.
the surface of the sun.
Can you hold that up closer to the screen? Wait, I've been using that for toothpaste.
oh no. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Heavy
Oh
abrasive.
dear, your teeth
Yeah.
are not getting a sunburn at least.
I was gonna say, your
anyways,
teeth
this
are
is-
so white. There you go.
it's a French name. It's by La Roche-Posay. And
Oh, yeah.
what I like about it is it's not sticky. It's not greasy. It
Say the name again.
just, no, I'm not going to say it again because you're just going to make fun of
Oh,
me.
you're saying it's your La Roche-Posay is not greasy at all.
It's not greasy.
Yeah.
It's not greasy.
Okay.
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
Jenna's
look,
got
see,
hers.
Jenna has the same one because I turned her on to that as well.
Jenna also has a La Roche-Posay.
Just, I finally get the joke. It took me a second, guys. It took me a second. I'm with you now. Oh, there's going to be a couple of outtakes.
It
for
is
this
dry
episode.
touch.
Oh,
It's dry touch. Okay.
it's not
Let's get this
necessarily what
train
you
back on
want,
the
but it's
tracks
French.
here.
They're different. It's a different strokes.
Anyhow, it's an SPF 60.
Mhm.
We all need to be wearing more sunscreen on our face, our neck, our ears, all those bits that, we tend to forget about.
Anything.
So I highly recommend it. And the nice thing is you can get this on Amazon, Target, most major drugstores across the country carry it. So you don't have to go very far out of your way. And I actually don't hate this. It goes on nice under makeup for those of you who wear makeup.
Mhm.
Anyways, I really like this enough that now Janna wears it daily too. That's one of my favorite things. And it's really easy.
Nice.
The other thing that is my favorite thing, and I chose this one because it is sort of related. And now as a navigator, I feel like very connected to maps in a lot of different ways. But I've actually had these for years. These are leather bound journals, and they are made by a company in Milwaukee. This one, you can see that I'm holding up if you're looking online, is the surface of the moon. It's from a map of the lunar surface. This is a map of Sydney in Australia. I have a passport cover made by them that is Yosemite National Park. They have a whole national park series. They take a lot of really cool old maps of different cities, different national parks, different locations, and they laser etch them onto these journals. And it's always cool, like there's a feature where the map kind of split and the journal will open along a road or a river or another landform. And I just think they're really, really cool. And inside, it's just a moleskin notebook. It includes the notebook when you buy one, and you can, just switch it out and have this beautiful leather-bound notebook to use for all sorts of different things. So that's by Tactile Craftworks, and they're two friends of mine in Milwaukee. Shout out to them. I love their products. The leather is super, super high quality, and I think it makes a really cool gift, especially for anybody who does like maps and who likes to adventure or who likes to travel. It's really, really great for that person and a good gift for somebody. I got Stephen that lunar one because Stephen is one of the hardest people in the world to give a gift to. And it's just really cool. I really like those.
That's really neat.
Because I do a lot of self-gifting throughout the year. So it's,
Yeah, you're kind of the worst.
Yeah, there's nothing left at the end of the year because I like to treat myself.
Typically in our house, starting about November 15th, if he buys himself something, if something comes to the door, if I take the mail in and there's he's bought himself, I got a new flashlight or I got a new pocket knife. I'm like, well, that's your Christmas present. Happy birthday.
I got a new fire truck. It's how it is.
Yeah. This year it was the fire truck.
Oh,
so
that's
you're getting coal.
That's great.
You're getting coal in your stocking.
Speaking of coal in my stocking, that Series 3 is coming along, Stephen.
It's the gift that keeps on giving because every time I send a car up there, it's always a total basket case that Ike has to sort out. It actually isn't. It's a great car. It runs and it drives great. I actually kind of miss it, but when you're given an opportunity to do a swapperoo for a fire truck, every 10-year-old kid knows how badly they wanted a fire truck, and few people get to realize that. So, yeah, it's great. And our good friend Jean-Luc Basters, he has sent me the instructions that he was able to get for the same pump that is in his Firefly. It's a little slightly different version of the Firefly than I have, but the pump mechanism is the same. And so we may be close to a Christmas miracle of actually filling that thing up with water and then going and spraying kids around the neighborhood with it. So
you just fill it up with hot chocolate and hose them down.
Oh, that's a great idea. How festive. Yeah, that would be great. All right. Well, as we come to a close here, I have a couple of favorite things that I really like. One is sort of an item that you can source from a variety of different places. I have a very special set here, and that is contained for safety inside of this small Pelican case. This was gifted by our good friends at Anarch, Bob Steele and the gang there at Anarch for the 75th anniversary Diamond Jubilee event that Ike and I and Janna attended earlier this year. And this is sort of a little bit of a Land Rover, not even Land Rover, but just like old car tradition of taking the fuel bowl, the sediment bowl, out of the bottom of your fuel pump or fuel filter and using it as a shot glass. This one happens to have a little Anarch 75 logo on it, but if you use the fuel bowl, you don't necessarily have to drink fuel out of it. You can drink,
but you could,
whatever you want. But you could. And really, really great size. Funny enough, it is about the size of a double ounce shot glass. So it's a perfect volume. And as a special thank you to Linus for being such a stand-up individual, I purchased a set of these for him at Anarch this year. And then Janna and Ike and I enjoyed a number of enticing beverages with our good friend Bob Steele. We had some classic Bob Steele brown water, as well as some Texas Pete pickle juice, some moonshine pickle juice. And, throughout the evening, we had some Fireball, some other things, and we were using my collection of shot glasses, and I sort of just put them back in the foam and closed it up and said, you know what, I'm going to seal this thing up because this whole thing's going to need to get washed when I get home. And thought nothing of it. Gave the version that I had bought for Linus to Ike to bring to him. And then got home and opened mine up to find a sparkling new set of fuel bowl shot glasses. At some point in the moonshine pickle induced chaos, I had inadvertently switched them. And so Linus was treated to a set of shot glasses that were full of all manner of corruption and had been sealed inside of a case and driven around in a van for 2 weeks. So
now, I don't think that was as bad of a gift as you think it is. In addition to joy of sweeping that Linus sure appreciates, he really likes washing dishes. So giving him a box of dirty dishes wasn't as bad as you maybe think it was.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Listeners
well, there you
who are not watching the video don't realize that Linus left us a little while ago.
Yes.
And so he's not here to confirm or deny that was the best or worst gift he'd ever been
It was great.
gifted.
No, I'm
But,
right here. My name is Linus, and I approve of this message.
Of this message. Yeah. So find yourself a fuel sediment bowl this year for your holiday cheers.
Can you open them up and show us what they look like?
Yeah.
I did. Right
Yeah,
there.
they're the sediment bowl for a
Very
lift pump.
fancy.
Yeah, for the fuel pump.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Lift
are,
pump sediment bowl and
Super
very
sweet.
traditional.
Those
Very
things are great.
cool. Yeah, they're
Question:
awesome.
Do you think
Mhm.
Do you think the original sediment bowl was based off of a shot glass?
Mm.
That is a great question. Which
Is
came
it
first, right? It's a very
full
chicken
circle?
egg thing. Yeah, you're
Uh-huh.
right. Very Inception-y. I don't know.
Hard to say,
it's
but
too good of a shot glass to not be at least related, right? I mean, it just
Mhm,
doesn't make
mhm.
sense.
you could probably
Yeah, they're
use
sitting
a
in the
shot glass
workshop.
or this
Mhm.
part on your Land Rover in a pinch.
Yeah, I think you probably could. You could. And my second and final thing is something that I think most people already enjoy, but if you don't, you really should. And that is our good friend Jeff Aronson's Rovers magazine, brought to you by all of the wonderful people, Mark Letournay and the gang at Rovers North, who have been supporting that only remaining independent Land Rover magazine for decades.
I think it's the only magazine left in print, to be honest.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is such a great one. People sort of consider it, well, the free catalog that comes from Rovers North. It really isn't. It's so much more than that. And that is entirely because of the incredible Jeff Aronson and the work that he does to put that magazine together for us, to come out to events and to take pictures and to harass people for articles and spend time with us and make us a better community of Land Rover writers. Like Land Rovers have been making mechanics of owners since 1948. I think Jeff Aronson has been making journalists of Land Rover owners, since for decades now, and we all really appreciate it. And it's such a great magazine. And like I said, thanks to Mark Letournay and the gang there at Rovers North up in Vermont for everything that they do, obviously for us, but specifically for that magazine. So if you don't have a Rovers magazine, you can go to their website and sign up for one. It is totally free. If you're just getting into the Land Rover hobby, maybe you've just bought a new Defender, even if they don't necessarily have every part you might need for it, sign up because they do have parts for it, and it's a fantastic magazine. And they really do an incredible job on it, and we're very lucky to amongst this group have been featured in that magazine many times this year, and look forward to many times in the coming years. So we've got some absolutely fantastic content coming up over the next few months as we endeavor to pass what will be 100,000 streams of the old underpowered hour, which is quite an accomplishment. The fact that anybody has listened to it at all still surprises us, and we certainly appreciate
Amazing.
that. So hopefully everyone will get an opportunity to spend some time in their garages with their shitty old Land Rovers over this Christmas season and get those things running or put back together or taken apart or whatever it is that you want to do with it.
Or just sit in it and make motor noises.
That's exactly right. That's a lot of time. Just pull that handbrake, just get that physical handbrake and bounce up and down. It's fantastic. And, we've got a lot of stuff on the online store. This is a great time to get those Tiny Ike stickers for that loved one that maybe you'd prefer didn't come to Christmas dinner this year. Great way to alienate people. We also have a bunch of T-shirts and those sort of things as always. So make sure to check that out. If you haven't, and I'm sure most of you have because, the buzz is real, headed over to the old YouTube channel. Check that out. We've got lots of fun content coming up in the next few weeks as we get into the Christmas season. So lots of stuff to do while you are avoiding your in-laws at various functions over the holiday season. You can go ahead and throw on a YouTube video and pretend that you're on a Zoom with somebody at work. And so with that, thank you guys as always for your thoughtful things. And I am particularly thankful for everybody that helps us put this show together, and we've got a pretty world-class team of lunatics that put this whole thing together, and so I appreciate it, and I look forward to another year of getting to do this, which is pretty exciting. The fact that we all get to be here and do this is kind of amazing.
Oh,
I'm just saying, we had a conversation the other day about what we will do in 1 year's time to celebrate our 200th episode. So, we've got plans.
We're going to Dimblebee's house, coincidentally. Yeah, we're going to recreate.
His eyebrows went up oh, really? We think we're going to get there.
No, I think we're gonna start doing daily episodes, so it's going to happen even faster than we previously thought. It's going to be amazing. So I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys each and every day.
Can't wait.
We're not going to do daily episodes.
Totally daily episodes. Linus is simply going to do a daily weather report with the horse.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I actually really like that idea.
Farmer's Almanac with Silver and Linus.
All right. Well, it's been a slice as always. We'll talk to you next week. And until then, stay safe and hit those Land Rover shopping catalogs and things. And we'll talk to everyone next week.
All right. See you on the trail.
Ciao.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Barris, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Barris. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.